Voice to Heal podcast series. Hi, it's Anastasia of Blue Beyond Guide, Anastasia Compos. And today, our number 4 episode of Get Real and Feel Consciously is with Rachel Brown. And I do want to say a little special note here that this is a sensitive issue on this subject of kidnapped, of Indigenous children, of what people call the stolen generation. Yet with this, Rachel did say to me that as her father was one, that they called it kidnapped. Hi, Rachel, and welcome to episode number 4. And thank you for being so brave to come on here. This is very close and near and dear to your heart, and especially with your father recently passing away as well. And it's time to voice to heal about this subject. So thank you for coming and being brave today.
Thank you for having me here today. It's an honor.
Tell me a bit more about the kidnapped instead of the word kidnapped instead of stolen, Jen.
I guess for my dad, he was taken to a home, which is what most of them, they went to homes. The boys from the homes preferred to be described at their experience to be described as kidnapped rather than the stolen generation for them.
Was that more of a white person's what term for it, stolen? Or you don't know?
I feel that very much it is when you look at the reports that have come out. It is a white term more, but they preferred kidnapped as the term to describe their experience for them.
Wow. I just want to share here, thank you for that this brought up for you a lot when you said you wanted to hold this as we actually wept together. You actually wept together with your father. I'll let you share your story a little bit more. Do you want me to keep going, or do you want to go from here? Because I'm reading what we spoke about, that this brought up a lot for you, that you want to hold it as you felt, and you finally faced your father, so you wept together and you shared. You went on to a website and saw his picture with the number for the first time. What was that like?
For me, I started doing a little bit of research just to help myself. And I come across the Kinchilla Boys Home is where my father went to. He was about 7 or 8 when he was taken there. With when he went there, and it happened for all the boys there, but they basically were stripped of their name, their culture, their language, and they were all given a number that would be stamped on their pajama pockets, on their toothbrushes, and anything, items such as that would have a number on them.
And
and they would be named by the number only.
Only by the number. So that's the beginning of brainwashing in a sense. That reminds me when I was in the military, we went by a number. I'm by no means comparing. We had a number. Everything had to be numbered and written down. And also being pajamas with a number on you, it also reminds me of World War II. And I just want to say here, we're talking, sharing more. Can you give us an overview about the kidnapped/stolen generation for Australia, for anyone that may be watching this from overseas that's not aware of what's happened? Are you happy to share generally what happened?
Well, a lot of the boys from the home too, like my father, for his story, he was told that his mother didn't want him anymore. And that he'd been given away, basically. And a lot of my research into some other stories was they were pretty much told the same thing. They were given away, or their parents had died, which was not how it happened at all.
Can you imagine at that age being let know that, darling? But not only that, but tell what I was getting at was tell people about what happened to the Indigenous. White man came. I mean, we've got songs about this.
Sure.
Yeah, just a brief history of white man coming, a little bit of that history, because I do want to go more about your dad, but just a general
Yeah,
overall
sure.
history about what happened.
I guess for Aboriginals, it for them it become them. I mean, we've had lots of massacres and things like that, but for them it was about their culture being taken away, their language. There's not much language actually in Australia anymore for Aboriginal people. Most of them, it's quite forgotten for some. But yeah, they were stripped of, I guess, of their identity was a big one. Yeah, and for them too, I guess they had no rights. They couldn't vote or do anything, any of those things that other Australians did till a certain time when that was brought in. Yeah.
So, what was the reason that they removed the children in the first place? What was the reasoning for that?
It was for them, they when they went into the home situation, they'd learn how to I guess they did a lot learn how to work and earn money and be white, because basically they were told the entire time that they weren't black.
So they
So
were removed from the parents. Let's go back further, Rachel. They were removed from the parents because they were doing a cleanse. What was it? Let's go back even further than this.
Okay.
What was it? A cleansing? What was it? Because I know there was stuff put in the water to poison. There were so many atrocities we've seen. Many of the Aborigines in chains. There were some horrible, horrible things that were done. So, what year was your dad born in?
1947.
Okay, so we're looking around that era. So it can ever. So this is really just after the war. And was it a cleansing? What was the reason, history-wise? What was the reason they were removing the children? Do you know?
For them, I guess it was yeah, definitely was a cleansing of sorts. Yeah, a lot of them were murdered and whatnot as well. So as well as being taken to homes and brainwashed into being told that they were white and that they weren't black, and losing their identity and things like that.
Was it because they also that they didn't want them to live like savages? Did they look at them as living like savages? Was it that story that they would be better off taken care of, that they didn't think they were being taken care of?
Yeah, well, for me, I actually got a lot of history in from the government and whatnot, letters that were done from back you know for my father's history, and a lot of it come back. Actually, it's got it all had black lines through so much stuff, and they'd have to ask permission to move anywhere or to go to see any family members or anything, that they'd have to actually get written permission to do so.
Okay, so these children were traumatized, removed from their homes, told that their mothers or families were dead.
Yes. Or they
So,
didn't want them, one or
or they
the
didn't.
other.
Oh, okay. So, wow. Where do you want to go from here in sharing about your dad? Do you feel
A
what
lot of the
comes at the
time too.
forefront for you?
Yeah. I guess another thing to mention there, generally, like, there'd be sibling groups, because Aboriginal families had large amounts of children, and so the children would be separated from each other as well and taken to different places also
And did your dad
as a
have
part of that.
siblings?
Yes, he had his brother also was taken with him, and his sister almost did, but it was just him and his brother out of I believe 6 children. Yeah.
Okay. So, what about when you went on the website? So, your dad never shared anything about this?
He He
Like, are you
told me
willing to
one.
share a little bit growing up?
Sure.
You choose what you want to share.
Well, for me, I left my dad when I was probably about the same age as that he went into the home. Actually, it was around about 7. He he yeah, he had an addiction to alcohol, so he had that, and yeah, it was a lot of abuse and at home, obviously from growing up for him, in a home situation.
And where did you go? Where were you taken?
My mum, I left with my mum at that
Okay.
time. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And did you see your dad over the years?
No, I didn't. I didn't pretty much. I never saw him again actually until I was 30 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What happened then?
We saw each other for a little while. Yeah, it wasn't a very long time. Yeah, it was quite challenging because unfortunately he was still an alcoholic, and yeah, his drinking and addiction and his trauma was still very raw for him. Yeah, at the
And how did
time.
you come closer together later on? What brought you to
I
look at
guess.
the website, to
Mhm.
when you said you went on the website and you saw his picture with a number, that what a incredible, moving, I don't have the words for that time. You give me the words, what that was for you, what led to that.
Um, well, I get my own healing journey, the start of my own healing journey. Um, and yeah, wanting that to do that healing for it to flow onto my children was a huge part of I guess learning about the past.
To stop that further trauma
Mhm.
going through to the children. And even if some did go through, you have an
Mhm.
opportunity to what I call reparent, where
Yeah,
is to
absolutely.
you tell me. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, well, yeah, reparenting has been a really big part of my healing journey. And learning to be the parent that I want to be really has been a big part of gaining that knowledge from the past.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
powerful what you just said then.
Mhm.
I just saw that and felt that in you when you said that. It's like you brought that into you
Mhm.
when you said it. So again,
Mhm.
tell me what led to your dad to see his picture with the number. Tell me what happened slowly, and then we'll,
I guess, yeah, for me, it was looking at my own traumas and then understanding
as you said,
um,
yeah.
his traumas from a different space and a different perspective. The more I went along on my own healing journey.
Because you could have continued on that cycle of
Mm.
whatever, alcohol, drugs, whatever the addictions and the abuse, that could have continued. But then you came into your self-awareness, your self-growth. Okay, beautiful. And that's when it started changing. Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah,
Well
well,
done for being the one that's breaking the generational trauma, to make it easier. Keep going. What else did you want to share?
yeah, well, I guess it comes to that he did the best that he could do,
Yeah.
given his own traumas and what he'd been through himself. I realized how enormous that must have been for him, to go through all
But
of
what a
that.
place of growth for you to realize
Mm.
that. And that takes a bit of maturity sometimes, doesn't it, to get to that
Mhm.
point where we forgive our parents,
Yeah.
because as we're parents and we get older, we go, oh shit, we don't have all the
Mhm.
answers. We're just winging it too,
Mm.
and it was really good that you acknowledged that. Did you ever get to say anything to him about that? What was spoken between you two?
I guess no, I didn't get to do that to him personally. Um, we didn't have a conversation like that with each other.
But we're
Um,
honoring him today.
yes,
And what would
very
you have
much.
liked to have said to him? Because now is the time to
Yeah,
say
sure.
this. What would
Um,
you have liked to have said to him? Mm.
Well, I'm actually really proud of him.
Oh,
Um, he, yeah, he for his journey, he went and did a lot for the boys of Kinchilla Home, and he did a lot with coming together with a lot of those boys and talking about healing, and he just did his journey in a different way, even though we didn't have
what
I
did he
guess
do
that
for? What do you
relationship.
mean, darling? So it sort of runs in the family. That it sounds like it. So what did he do for them? What do you mean? What did he do?
He went and did a lot of talks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he got up and talked a little bit about his journey. He was actually one of 25 that went and did an interview that's kept in the National Library at the moment that can be looked at as well. So I found that to be so brave and amazing.
Oh, what was his name in case anyone wants to look up?
Vincent Peters. Yeah.
Vincent Peters.
Yes. Yeah.
Beautiful. And it's just honoring his memory and everything he's gone through, and how proud I am of him and you
Mhm.
as well,
Mhm.
because you are also now studying youth work.
Yes, I am.
So you're taking it further too. So this
Yeah,
is
well, I guess
beautiful.
yeah, for me we yeah, everything I've been through up until now has really led me to this point of being passionate to learn that and to work with others in that way as well.
And who better than, I personally prefer someone that's been through, excuse me, something,
Mm.
because I know that when you go through a lot of trauma, and if you're a strong individual and soul and you're very stubborn, that sometimes the only thing that will help someone is someone that's actually been through it, to be able to
Well,
reach
that's
people
yeah.
that have that are in it. In other words, I couldn't think of anyone better than you to be doing the youth work, because you've been through it, and people need someone relatable, that's someone that really understands. Not saying that others don't, because
Well,
mhm,
for me, that's what's helped me on my healing journey is actually working with others that have been through lots of trauma too. Um, it just helps to relate um, with each other on a feels like a special level, really.
I like that, a special level.
Mm.
Well, it's at a very deep core level too, real
Mhm.
primal deep core level, that person
Mhm.
understands. And sometimes all it can take is one person that gets you, or gets it, that understands and that feels it deeply, that you can feel that they do, that can change your life.
Oh, it's absolutely life
So
changing.
can you imagine how many life changes these kids being institutionalized will have with you doing the youth work that you're going to do,
Mhm.
that you're studying now? You're working with them
Mhm.
now or studying now? Where are you at with that?
I'm actually working at the moment. I'm still studying. However, I
Yep.
am working with parents with small children, and I'm helping them at the moment.
And are
Yeah.
you finding any triggers? How's that going for you? Because it's a tricky thing, isn't
Mm,
it?
it can be. Yeah. There's definitely your own triggers to work through. I mean, that's
Mm,
just um
part of it.
a part of it.
Mm.
Absolutely. I feel um yeah, even when we work through all the things that we work through, we're still going to have those triggers. It's a part of it. Um, they just get a little bit
Less
less as you go along. Yeah.
and less charged, and you
Yeah.
learn.
Hmm.
Sorry, you keep going. You tell me in your words.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they do. They just I guess the more that you are aware of them and you work with them, they do become less, and you can what's the word I want to use? You can
Deal with it,
identify them a little.
manage.
Yeah. Identify it more within yourself.
Ah, okay. Identify. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
Mhm.
Beautiful. And there's another healing that begins there with you. And you wouldn't be doing this if you wouldn't be able to handle this, working behind the scenes with your own emotions, because a lot of people that help others are not aware that they need to be helped themselves. This is so, so important. And I know you know that. And I'm just saying for others, be aware of triggers, be aware that it's an opportunity of another healing for you further while you're helping others, and make sure you look after you, because I know you do, Rachel. Look after yourself to keep yourself healthy, because it's a two-way thing, helping others, helping yourself, when we do such a role like that. And I just thought I would throw that in. It's really, really important, isn't it?
It's yeah, it really is important. Otherwise, we just couldn't keep moving on and doing that. Really, it'd be impossible. We didn't.
So take a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And what else do you feel you'd like to share more about your dad?
Well, I guess what's coming, I can see more now. So much more why the things happened in my childhood and the way that they did happen.
And what
play
does that
out.
do when you reflect and you can see it? Does it diffuse it? Does it lower the intensity? What does that do for you, being able to reflect like that?
It feels quite it does lower it. It feels more from a neutral space than it does
Neutral.
that pain and yeah, the sadness and grief that's there, I get, has been a part of the journey as well. Yeah.
And then from neutrality, from that, can that lead to empowerment? It's good to look at it neutrality. The next step. Yeah. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I feel it. It's like it starts a process of taking taking that power back, like those steps towards it. Very much so.
Good one. And the angle I'm coming from, because it's easy for me to say it in words because I haven't been through it. It's I always say to people, oh, I've got the end result, I've got the answer, but to get there can take years and layers and much to go through. There's a big shift happening right now, Rachel, so I'm just going to release this energy. What I didn't say at the beginning of this is an opportunity for people to see a live divine healing happening as we're talking. This is only just a little bit that comes through in these podcasts, and we flow back and forth. We don't just do interview, question, answer. We are flowing freely. And what we're releasing is a big blob of old black dark energy right now as Rachel is coming and talking. Under here is clear. And up the top is just murky, murky, murky. And we're just going to release this, because I really want to know what led to you with your dad seeing the picture with the number. There's I keep being brought back to that by spirit. So we need to go back to that point, please, Rachel, as I keep releasing these older energies. Can you feel that release? I know you always do when I do.
I can.
Take your time. We've got time. And beautiful white is flowing up now through your column, through your whole body. Everybody just take a moment to allow the white to come in and fill any voids or any spaces in your aura and energy. Very briefly, just bring white up. That's it. It's flowing freely now, Rachel. The white is just flowing, just cleansing, cleansing, cleansing. How are you feeling now?
Oh, much lighter.
I love when you go, yeah, I felt light and tingly as well. It cleared a whole layer. So we can go to another layer deeper. And again, as I said, Spirit was mentioning about your dad with the photo and the number that you saw, and I'll hand it to you with that because I keep coming back to that. So
for me, it has been learning about being youth work. We've been shown, you know, a big part of that is to identify young people at risk as a as a as a subject or a module. And for me, it showed how, you know, young children are still being institutionalized as young as 10, especially more Aboriginal people, more Aboriginal kids. It's about 63%, I believe. From 10 to 14, they're being institutionalized in detention centers and whatnot. And that's, I guess, for me, that I wanted to delve a little bit more into my father's story and what that was
Were
like
you
being.
shocked? Were you shocked that that institutionalization is still happening today? And we're talking about something happened in 1947. And tell me a bit about the shock of that.
I was, yeah, it was a huge
Wow.
shock. I really had, I didn't know that it was still so prominent here in Australia, to be honest with you. Yeah, because I guess it's not really being, you know, it's not out there to be seen what's happening.
But what also has come to light more is the abuse that goes on. We've been let known, our beautiful Jacinta Price, she's been bringing to the forefront a lot of the abuse that is still, even I've been shocked in the last couple of years. I too didn't know how much the abuse is still happening in the Indigenous communities. Really shocked me, let alone the shock of you now having your father part of being kidnapped and what you found out. Go on.
Yeah, it just that's, I guess that's what led me to have a little bit more of a because there's a Kinchilla Boys home website where you can go on and see some different things, and they actually have their own museum with some of their history of the home there. But yeah, that sort of led me to see what was, yeah, to have a look at that, and just a shock of that it's still happening, really. And at such a young age, it's incredible,
Oh,
really.
yeah.
Mm.
What an impressionable imprint of an age. And yeah. Okay, there's another big shift releasing. That's affected you deeply. I can feel it at your core. You're doing good. That really did shock you. I can feel that.
Mm-hmm.
And we were sort of talking a little bit beforehand, and I was saying, I can relate just a little bit. It's not the same. Okay, I just got to release this. Of the abuse still happening in the military, because this is under the Voice to Heal banner. There is these podcast series, and there's the historic military abuse trauma stories. And I was surprised to find that assault and abuse is still happening a lot behind the scenes in the services. And I'm like, have we not learnt from 33 years ago, being the first female to create new legislation in Parliament for PTSD, that is still happening now? So when you told me that, I'm like, oh, I can relate a little bit in the sense, it's not the same, that we are surprised that it's still happening this day and age. And now you're part of helping the healing journey for others, doing what you're doing, studying the youth work and seeing. And again, I just want to thank you for being so brave as being part of that, so closely linked with your father and in your childhood to now be doing the youth work. I really thank you for doing that on behalf of everybody and all the families that you're going to help. Thank you, because that is a very brave thing to be able to do. Not everyone can do that. It's challenging.
It's definitely challenging. It feels like it links back to what you said before. Just having that one person, and if I've had that one person, if I can be that one person for someone, yeah, it can just ripple out, and you know,
Yeah.
compassion and understanding for someone.
Thank you.
Mm.
It gives your life a purpose and a meaning and more of a, not a reason, but you know what I mean. What am I saying? It does. It says that's why you're here. And we need a purpose sometimes, don't we?
Yeah. Oh well, definitely. it just, yeah, it helps you get out of bed. And I don't know, yeah, each person is different to
Mm.
work with, so it's nothing's the same. It's always different,
Yeah,
and I learn just as much from them, as what
that's it.
um I give of myself too. So,
That's
which
it.
is
It's
really beautiful as well.
oh,
Yeah.
100%. I love that humbleness too. I So again, I'm going to keep coming back this circle. We're clearing layers, keeps coming back to your dad with the photo
Mhm.
and seeing his number. I
Mhm.
keep coming back to that. So we will just follow where we're guided. Tell me
Cool.
about that again.
Um, for me, I didn't know that I had no idea my father had never mentioned anything along that lines, in any of our conversations together, that, they were given a number. And, yeah, I was quite, shocked to learn that, it's, for example, if one of the boys had called each other by names, they'd, get them to form lines and send the boy down the line, and then they'd actually all punch the boy, and they had to punch him super hard. Like, it was such a, yeah, it was a really big shock. Um, how prominent, yeah, the number was. And I honestly, yeah, well, I wept very much, obviously, when I feel tears now, actually.
Got him with you.
Mm. Um, yeah, to have your identity stripped like that,
Horrific. Yeah, I'm
it
hearing you,
is so
darling.
horrific.
You're just
Mm.
seeing it now. I can see it with you with the young
Mm.
boys and them doing that. And then
Mhm.
keep going.
Yeah,
Or if you want me to go, I'll go. It's up to you where you're at the
yeah,
moment. Take a breath. Yeah. I know you're good. I know you're good. This is what it
yeah.
means to share, to release the emotions and keep
Mm.
going. We keep going. We keep going.
Mhm.
Um, so thank you for sharing and pushing through, especially knowing that was your dad. And then what else happened with what else did you learn at that time?
Um,
As if that
just
wasn't
there was
enough.
there was just
Mm,
so many it was just atrocious what happened there. To be honest, yeah,
too many to tell. I'm hearing you. And if they want to
yeah,
go and have a look, the chinchilla.
it's Kin, Kinchilla
Kinchilla. I didn't know
boys
that.
home. Mm-hmm.
Kinchilla. Sorry, you
It's
go. Mhm.
Kinchela
Okay.
boys home.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on a website, and there's history on there that you can have a look at for yourself.
If they
Yeah.
want to go any further, because that's enough. We don't need to go down that path
Yeah.
anymore.
Hmm.
Um, so you said he didn't say anything. So when did you first hear? How did you hear?
Um, well, for me, I guess I started my journey out. I went and worked at an Aboriginal medical service, and it actually led me to researching my family history on that side. Um,
Okay.
I did it over a few years, actually. Yeah, so it was sort of was the start. And then in that time when I worked there is when I contacted an Aboriginal like corporation in Victoria, and it was actually a cousin of mine, so I was related to her, and she told me that my father was alive, so I got to meet him um, through that connection. So,
Oh,
which was pretty
wow.
incredible. Yeah,
Wow. How old were you roughly? How long ago was that?
yeah, I was like 30 years old, so it
Yeah,
was,
as you said
yeah,
before. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. So then you met him.
yeah, um, yeah, which was I'm so grateful for that moment, actually. Um,
Yeah.
just to actually feel that, yeah, right here at this moment. Pretty incredible, really.
Did you think he would be dead?
I'd been told that he was, actually.
Oh,
by my mother's side of the family. So
was that a
yeah,
part of don't want to know about him or he's dead? Just like,
yeah, yeah. I was just told that he was. So it was that was a big shock to know that he was, and that I
how
was able to
beautiful.
meet him. Hmm.
And then you met him?
Yeah. Um, yeah. From that time, I guess. Yeah. After meeting him is when I heard that he done lots of he started doing some talks and things like that from that point with us meeting. So, which is really beautiful as well.
Mm. And when did you actually go onto the website and see his picture with a number? What was that moment like?
That was only really recently, actually. That was probably about a month ago. It was only really recent that I learned a bit more about that. So yeah, just doing learning what I'm learning at the moment. It just opened up that door to have to look into that a bit more.
Wow. And
Yeah.
when you met your dad,
Hmm.
have you got a brief timeline of
Hmm.
his life? Do you know from the boys' home? If you don't, that's okay. Do you have a timeline of what happened, where he went from there? Just a brief timeline at all? Do you know what happened to him? What did he do?
I'm not. Yeah, I don't know too much.
Mm.
To be honest, but he was like, I guess they had to work so hard. He was always a hard worker, and he worked quite hard. You know what I mean, in the younger days of his life. But
So was he
I believe,
adopted out? Sorry, was he adopted out?
mm, no, he actually left the home as he become an adult, which is generally what most of the boys did in that home. So
Wow.
they'd
So they
go,
stayed there the whole time.
yes,
It's
they'd
a
stay
boys'
there for long.
home. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They'd stay there for long periods of time, depending on their ages. Um, Obviously when they got there, and to when they'd leave.
And did he have any contact with family? Anything like? Wow. Wow. Wow.
Um,
Only if
he
you know what happened after that.
Mhm.
Yep.
From my knowledge, he connected with his mum, but and then she'd had remarried and had other children, so there was other children, at siblings and whatnot for him, I guess too. Um, but I don't know too much other than I know he
Mm.
struggled with his mum a little bit, because of that trauma that he had. Um, Around that. I don't know too much of his timeline,
Yeah.
really. Hmm.
Wow, honey. And so you had a rough time in life as well. As you said, you've been through a lot.
Hmm.
You left with your mum. You've been through.
Hmm.
Did you want to share any? You don't have to. Again, this is
Sure.
only what you want to share from here is totally
Well,
up to you.
I can share briefly. For me, it was like that cycle of abuse and that. So for me, for my dad going through it, then I went through it as a child, and then um, I married, and that happened in my marriage also. So then my children also went through the abuse. So there was a lot of that intergenerational trauma and abuse that occurred. And a big part of me starting on my own healing journey to really I didn't want to carry that as a burden for myself, or for like if what healing I could do. My children have started to do they're doing healing as well, so they're really brave, and um they also go and talk about their trauma, and um
Oh, wow. Because they got a brave mum and they had a very brave
mm,
grandfather as well. And I don't even know the
yeah.
other side yet. So that's
Yeah, so
just, does that give you some peace?
oh, absolutely. Yeah, well, I get when you it all feels so worth it. Everything that you've been through up until, you know, the moment that we're in now, it all feels worth it. It makes you who you are.
Hindsight's an amazing thing, isn't it? But it's beautiful for you to
Oh,
reach this place, because sometimes it can take a while when you're in it. If you
oh,
survive to get to this point, what a blessing that you've just said that, to go, you know what, this has been worth it. I can actually see now why I am here, why I'm doing this, why I'm studying youth work, why this is not only for my further healing, but for other kids. Like you said, if I can, and you're not doing it just to be that one voice, you're just being yourself and offering that opportunity to others, because there's a big difference. You don't go out seeking that, because then you'll be exerting energy, and that's actually not healthy. You're
no.
looking after yourself, and being there for those is incredible. This new venture that you're taking, stepping up on this new platform, studying the youth work, doing what you're doing now, is beyond amazing and incredible. To see you have come this far to when I first knew you is quite some years now. To be able to speak, to do this is a miracle, people, is a miracle. Couldn't get you to come on a video, couldn't get you to talk. It's taken some
No.
years.
Yeah. We've worked for a long time. Yeah,
Yeah.
speaking was a really so challenging for me. Yeah, and yeah, you've helped me so much along the way. We've done a lot of work behind the scenes, so and healing, and it's been yeah, incredible that I can actually feel comfortable and confident to use my voice. Yeah.
I know. That's just in case people think that we're just coming here and Rachel does this every day. Oh, no, 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 no. It's a very
Right.
big deal for you to be here. It's a big deal for you to share what you have about your father. The kidnapped, stolen generation is still very sensitive, still very raw here in Australia. And as you said, there's so much still happening, and we're only just touching the tip of the iceberg in having that being revealed to us. Like I said, it was only a couple of years ago that came out more, and that I was like, I had no clue, and I live here. I had no idea that this was going on, and there's more to be revealed and more to come to this. So how wonderful that you're part of this moving forward, to be able to do this. And we were talking beforehand about, we're sort of in a way starting to become the elders, in a sense, slightly loosely said, in respect of now we need to speak up, and we are now that generation that we have a role and a purpose, and others may come to us, and it's happening. It's happening now for you. It's happening now more for me. It's a bit of a surprise, isn't it?
It is a bit of a surprise, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, speaking up and voicing, it really does start off that journey to healing. And me finding my voice, to be here today has been a huge part of that, to be able to do this today. Yeah, because it was, I guess, yeah, for my father, it was so hard for him to do that, just as it was for me also. Yeah, so thank you so much for the opportunity to
Oh.
be a part of these podcasts. They've been quite amazing.
I know your dad would be proud of you, doll. I know he'd be really proud of you.
Mhm.
Did you have any, because I'm getting to ask about your kids, what do your kids think? Because I was going to think, did your dad and
Mhm.
you ever have a chance to be intimate or close at all? Did you ever speak? Was he able
Um,
to? What was the
he
dynamics
wasn't
there
able.
before he
Well,
passed?
sure. He was never able to have a
Mm.
conversation really with me. Um, I I learnt little bits from his brother. Um, Pretty much little bits of the story. I didn't hear it directly from my dad.
Ah,
He basically told me that he would never speak to me about it. Um, and he kept that. But
yeah.
Yeah, for me, I guess that really helped open up a door for me to be able to speak to my children about trauma, and that it was okay
Okay.
to talk about trauma, um, and the feelings that come up from those traumas. Yeah.
Thanks, Mum. What a blessing to be able to do that, to open that door for them. And what do they feel about you? Do you know? What do they feel about you doing today, coming on the podcast? Do they even know about studying the youth
Yeah.
work? What do they feel? Is there any
Mhm.
feedback from them? How many children do you have? We're skipping a lot because we're winding up.
Sure.
I'm getting
That's
the
okay.
wind up. Can you feel it
Of
as
course,
well? Can
I
you feel
can.
that
I have.
energy winding up? And I say that to people
Mhm.
that are not aware of how we run these. And Rachel and everyone that comes on are well aware of holding space, how we roll. We're different. We're doing this how we want to do it. We want to stop. We want to pause. We want to bring the healing through. We want to do something different. So how do they feel about you? Do you know?
Um, yeah, well, I was having a conversation with my youngest daughter, and she knew that I was doing the podcast today, and she was very proud, for one.
Oh,
And
Mum.
yeah, she said, you know, go do this. I know you got this. Very, yeah. So it was very encouraging. And yeah, proud,
I
which is
felt that.
lovely.
Oh, look at you. You found a little bit hard to say that.
I did find it quite. Yeah, they are. They're quite. My youngest, yeah, being Mother's Day yesterday too. She basically told me that inspiring. My strength and resilience is inspiring, and that it's great to see that I'm kick ass. Is what were her words. So
You
yeah,
made it to the kick-ass. When Joey
yeah,
told me years ago, oh, Mum, you're sick, I went, oh my God, I've made it to the realm of being sick. I thought that was years ago when that saying first came out. So you made it to the realm of kick-ass, did you?
yeah. I did.
Oh, that's priceless. That is just priceless. Because you got 4 children?
I do have 4 children. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well done. Again, congratulations. A medal for each.
Yeah.
Wow, Rachel, how are you feeling? Whew.
Whew, feel good. I'm really grateful. Yeah, for the opportunity to do this. It means the world. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, beautiful. Thank you. Is there anything that you feel now? Again, just take a moment. Is there anything you feel you'd like to share, say about your dad, about anything, about
Mhm.
just take a moment.
I guess it's about what's come up as children in general, just to with any trauma or um any moment that's difficult, just to have that patience.
Hmm.
I've had to learn to be really patient because I can be a bit pushy at times. So um you know
I call it
um
assertive, darling. I'm hearing you, but we're no longer. Oh, you have
yeah.
a beautiful, strong energy, and some
Mm.
people may call it pushy. I just say you're standing
Mhm.
up for yourself, and
Yeah, yeah,
I'm hearing you though. It's
yeah,
when you're passionate. Yeah.
yeah. Just to have that patience and kindness for our kids. Yeah.
I wrote something the other day. Our kids are not all right. When all these kids are missing, I'm like, Pink song, our kids are not all right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a beautiful message. And also, I see messages of, I agree with your daughter, the strength, the resilience, everything that she said is, you inspire me. What you're doing, what you've been through, what your father's been through. And to come in here, to speak, to share everything you're doing, it is a miracle. And we're just moving forwards, onwards, and upwards from here. And I love what you're doing with your youth work, helping other children, to be there for them is just incredible. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Everything happens for a reason, people. Trust, have faith and trust. Everything happens for a reason. Everything that you've been through has led to this point, to you listening to this today. We do have a role in the mission and purpose, and look after yourself firstly and be kind to yourself. What Rachel said, also be kind to yourself. Be patient with yourself. Yeah. And nice. Yeah, right. What she said. Yeah. Is there anything else that's come as I'm going to go into the next? Yeah. No. The next podcast, everybody, will be Tennille, following on talking about domestic violence. And Tennille has also been a part of domestic violence, and it's really important that she speaks about this for herself. And then after that, we're going to have a break from having people on. It'll be just me bringing up subjects to talk. I have a lot to talk about, being a trailblazer to the planet of 30 years, ahead of time, 20 years. And I look forward to sharing those. So for now, thanks again, Rachel, for coming on. It has been incredible having you here, sharing everything you've done, and it's taken a lot. And thank you, everybody, for listening. And please share these around. And I look forward to the next one with Tennille Haku coming up. So, Rachel, thank you. Have a good day. What are you doing from here? Anything?
It's my youngest daughter's birthday today, so we're going to go and have some cake.
Go and eat the cake, people. That's yep. Rachel's parting message, is eat the cake. I love it. All right, beautiful. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thanks again, Rachel. All right, everyone. See you in the next podcast. All right. Cheers. Bye.